Thank you.
Well, welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you all, and thank you, Jane. When we started talking about butter coolers and pyramids of jars of jelly and Corn Chapel, it looked a little crazy on paper, and we really appreciate all of the support for bringing this vision to life. Tonight, I am super honored to introduce Justin Favel. Justin has earned national acclaim for his fantastic and fantastical installations and sculptures. With an irrepressible curiosity for the world around him, Justin draws together sources and symbols of Latinidad, American popular culture, and art history to invite connection and also critique among these very subjects. Justin's installations have been commissioned by museums, including the Denver Art Museum, Crystal Bridges, and El Museo del Barrio. Right now, you can also see his work at Ballroom Marfa in the group exhibition Los Encuentros, and in the one-person exhibition, Everything. Wait, I have a good picture of this one. This is in Ballroom Marfa right now. Right now, Everything Must Go. Justin Favela's closeout, blowout, re-grand opening at the Ulrich Museum in Wichita. Tonight, our conversation takes place in a sacred space, the Capilla de Maíz, or Maize Chapel, an illumination of North America's most vital crop, maize. In the 17th century Mexico, the craft of cartoneria, expressed here by Justin as piñata making, first emerged as church decoration, and then became essential to cultural rituals and festivals. True to its form, Justin's installation contains layers of meaning and holds some surprises. Justin, I'd like to crack open this work with you and learn more about you. So let's begin.
Yay! Let's do it.
You are from, if you can't tell, you are from Las Vegas.
Yes. I love Las Vegas. I am the unofficial ambassador of Las Vegas. And so, yeah, I was born and raised there. My mom's from Guatemala, my dad's from Mexico. There was a lot of work there in the 80s and 90s. You know, Las Vegas was blowing up, one of the fastest, literally blowing up. They were blowing up old buildings and building new ones. And so there was a lot of work there. And yeah, growing up, seeing the strip grow, and also seeing all these incredible spaces come and go, I think really did affect me as an artist. And so, yeah, most of my family is in Las Vegas, and I think that's one of the main reasons I am an installation artist is, and I think my subject matter kind of focuses on Americana and nostalgia. It's because in Las Vegas, it's very famous for the Rat Pack and the mid-century there. That's our history. Yeah, that's the brand in Las Vegas, but it's always changing, right? So we always miss the old Vegas. So, and then also just like when I'm thinking of an installation, like what better examples than a big casino, right? The wayfinding, they like really manipulate the space in this really beautiful and tacky way.
Have you ever been to a Vegas wedding?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
I am a registered minister, so if anybody wants to get married, hey, times are tough, okay? I got special rates for all of y'all. Thank you for supporting the Smithsonian. Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by that.
Yes, Universal Life Church.
Could you just talk a little bit about how your power of observation, especially of the Vegas vernacular, has informed your work with this as an example?
Oh, sure. Oh, so this piece right here is one of the first sculptures I made, Estaradas. It's based on the 1958 sign from the Stardust Casino. My grandmother worked at the Dunes across the street as a maid for many years, and I would look at that sign all the time. And so when I was in art school and I was thinking about a sculpture that would represent my family in the Vegas vernacular, I thought, why not a neon sign? So I used cardboard that I found from dumpsters on the Strip, very conceptual at the time, and I recreated this Stardust sign, but the letters it's phonetically how my grandma says Stardust, Stardust.
Through your powers of observation, you've built a body of work that translates Latinx visual culture into piñatas. Could you talk about why you chose piñata making?
Oh my gosh, yes. Also, I love talking about myself, so thank you so much for this moment. This is the best.
I should say, Justin, just as since I'm his hype woman tonight, he has this great podcast that you can still find on Spotify and wherever you get your podcast called Latinos Who Lunch.
Yes, Latinos Who Lunch.
For hours.
And this is an exclusive for all y'all. Don't tell anybody. Latinos Who Lunch is coming back May of 2026.
Oh,
Latinos
that's so
Who Lunch
great.
2.0.
That's great.
Oh, yes, we're broke. We need money. No, I'm just kidding. So, the piñata. So the piñata, honestly, it started as a joke. I was in art school, and a lot of my professors were asking me to make art about my identity. And I thought that was interesting because a lot of my white colleagues, shout out to Stephanie, went to art school with me, they weren't being asked to make art about their identity, right? And so I thought, okay, well, I'll give them what they want. And so I thought, what is the cheesiest, corniest symbol to represent Latinidad, being Latino? And the piñata was the first thing I thought of, because I think we all know what a piñata is for. It's for a birthday, you fill it with candy. And then once I started thinking about it, oh yes, it's about celebration, but it's also about destruction, right? And so the first piñata I ever made was in the shape of an actual donkey, like a life-size donkey that I made, that looked like it was hanging from a tree, but like a piñata. And I said, all right, I made my piñata piece. It was like dark and funny at the same time, and everybody loved it. So I just kept making piñatas. And eventually, I started making them bigger and bigger. And you can see a lowrider there, the Gypsy Rose lowrider. It originally was a 1964 Chevy Impala. Then in the 1970s, the Valales family took that car and made it into the Gypsy Rose in honor of their mom. Gypsy Rose Lee was her favorite burlesque star, right? So they painted hundreds of roses on it. You could actually go see it at the Museum of American Art right now. They have the actual car on display. I will be there tomorrow because I've only seen it once in real life, in person. I'm really excited. I thought lowrider culture would be something really amazing to honor in piñata, because a lot of times this lowrider culture isn't looked at as high art or as important when it comes to art in American history. But to me, the lowrider, it represents America. The car represents it's the symbol of American progress, literally. And so for Latinos to take that and to make it their own and to share their family history, to celebrate their culture, and to show off, come on, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so eventually, I started just covering buildings, covering rooms in piñata, right? Thinking about taking up space as a person of color in these museums that I'm being invited to be in. And then eventually the piñata became a medium for me. And I started looking at Mexican art history, and a lot of the paintings of the artist Jose Maria Velasco, very famous landscape painter from the 19th century. You can see one of the paintings here on this slide. And I learned a lot about landscape through my friend, Dr. Emmanuel Ortega, who I have Latinos Who Lunch, the podcast with, and how these landscape paintings really shaped the views of Mexico. Before Frida, before Diego, those were the symbols of the nation. And I never really looked at landscape painting the same, because these landscape paintings, not only were they documenting Mexico, but they were also selling Mexico, right? Helping the Spanish further colonize it. So there was something a little bit sinister about that and commodified. And so what better way to represent that than a piñata, right? This object meant to be sold and celebrated and then destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had a very large space, and so we knew we could call you to take it up.
Yes.
So that leads us to the room we're in tonight. So my first question is, why a chapel?
Oh my gosh. Well, religious trauma, honestly. No. Shout out to my evangelicals out there. I was raised, I'm actually channeling like a Texas evangelical preacher. Do you guys get it? No? Okay. So I was raised evangelical Christian on my mom's side and Catholic on my dad's side. And I actually loved going to Catholic church. It was like an hour and a half. There's like beautiful paintings everywhere, in and out. You get donuts at the end. I was like, it's not a 4-hour service. Oh my God, this is beautiful, right? And then they wear costumes. It's theater. It was so beautiful to me. And so one of the first times I did an artist residency, I did it in El Centro Histórico de Puebla, in the historic part of Puebla, Mexico. And there was this chapel there in the Iglesia de Santo Domingo, La Capilla del Rosario, the Chapel of the Rosary. And it was all the decorations in there were just like gilded gold, all these scrolls everywhere. And it's a chapel dedicated to all the women saints of the Catholic Church. And just the way that the light filled the space, it just took my breath away. And I would go every day, and I'm like, okay, I understand why people believe in God now. This is incredible, right? And so to have this space, this sacred space so close to me, it just reminded me of how, how a space could really move you, and also the history of that space can also kind of influence just your emotions. And so, yeah, I think that the Baroque, the ultra Baroque, the maximalism, when it comes to these spaces, just really speaks to me. And I think the aesthetic is also very Vegas. It's like all about surface. It's all about texture. When the facade is the reality, that's so Vegas.
Vegas and Central American.
And yes, exactly.
So we know chapel. So why maize?
Well, I was thinking about, what can I do? My installation is going to be here in conjunction with the State Fair show. And I thought, what is going on at state fairs across the United States? And then I thought, well, across all of America, not just the United States, right? Central and South America. And corn, right? There's nothing more American than corn. There's nothing more Mexican than corn, right? There's nothing more Guatemalan than corn. So it had to be corn. And at the time, I was actually in Guatemala visiting my grandfather's family, and both of my sides of my family, Mexican and Guatemalan, are ranchers. And so we were out on the ranch, walking through cornfields, and the corn leaves, like going over our heads, created this kind of chapel feeling. And so I thought, a corn chapel. And then I called Mary right away and emailed her. I was like, I think I know what I'm going to do. And then I did a site visit here in DC, and I got to I took a tour of most of the buildings, the Capitol, and I noticed these capitals on the columns of the old Senate chambers were actually corn at the top with corn stalks, because they were trying to design something that truly was unique to America, right? These neoclassical corn capitals. And I said, that's it. And then the Renwick Gallery actually has them right outside on the facade right here, right? So, so these eight big corn sculptures that you see around you represent the corn that is illustrated on the actual capitals in our state capitol, and then here at the Renwick.
And one of the stories we wanted to tell in the space is the indigenous origins and importance of corn and maize throughout the Americas, and we have we have a lot of connections in the exhibition to that as well. And also, as you're already talking about the formation of American identity, this is a corn river that was at the 1915 World's Fair, and it was put up by the state of Iowa to show the Midwest as the land of plenty. Could you talk a little bit about this formation of American identity through corn? Yeah,
I mean, corn is in pretty much everything we eat in the United States. It's like there's so many products made out of it. So it went from this crop that was genetically modified by Mesoamerican women to be what it was, to like fuel, to create industry here in the United States, right? So just like the piñata, right? This corn is used for good and for destruction as well, right? So, yeah, I think it says a lot about America and how when we can make money off of something, oh, we go all the way, baby, you know. And so that's kind of what these corn also represent. These are kind of like, I see us like in this room, like you know, there's some sort of board meeting happening, and the corn are all kind of talking to each other, you know. So
they do have ears.
Yeah, exactly. Very Vegas.
So you have this great play. A lot of your work is centering Central America.
Yes.
And then when we talk about corn, we go from Central Americas to Central America.
Yes.
And that for you was Iowa.
Yes.
Could you talk about this new perspective of Central America?
Okay.
And what is here?
Yes. So years ago, I was asked to propose an exhibition at the Des Moines Arts Center. And I heard a comedian make a joke about, have you ever been to Central America? And they're like, no, you never been to Iowa before, right? It's like right in the center of the US, right? And so, and also at the time, I had this kind of inner struggle because I felt like my Guatemalan identity was being erased. A lot of these institutions didn't really, they wanted me to talk about more of my Mexican heritage, or were more interested in those ideas. And so I thought, well, if I name this exhibition Central America, it will also force me to make work about my Central American identity, but also talk about like this idea of like the Midwest and the center of the U.S. So as you can see in this image here, this is a site-specific sculpture installation. While I was doing a site visit in Iowa, I found out that this just culinary wonder called the taco pizza was invented at Happy Joe's Pizza in 1973 in Iowa. And when I asked, well, how did that happen? They said, well, there was a lot of Italian immigrants and there was a lot of Mexican immigrants.
Who's had taco pizza?
And I said, wow, has anybody had a taco pizza before?
Oh my gosh, yes, thank you. You all have to live.
And so I decided it would be the perfect thing to honor in the middle of this almost chapel, symmetrical chapel that I made. And most of the murals that you see in the background are Grant Wood regional paintings, agricultural paintings, and also images of Central America from different paintings in the museum's collection. I think that's like a Homer painting in the back with the palm trees.
And that brings us to other questions of
Yes.
regionalism, and also back to this Vegas, I guess, and art historical idea of appropriation. And could you talk a little bit about some of your other source materials,
Yeah.
including these two images here?
Yeah, Grant Wood and also Oldenburg, they are one of my favorite artists. When I first learned about them, I was just, it just gives me so much joy how playful their work is, and how they're also kind of poking fun at us at the same time, you know? And so, and also when I started making art for museums, I realized if you make something little really big, they like that. And so both of these artists do that. Yeah, it was such an honor to make a giant taco pizza at the Des Moines Arts Center, because they brought out the Oldenburgs and had an Oldenburg exhibition next door to it. So that was very touching. And so now I'm getting all these really amazing opportunities, not only poking fun at the white canon, or the great whites as I call them, but also continuing that history, honoring that history in the same manner as a lot of the Chicano artists in the 1970s are doing. I'm also channeling those artists that are not really written about or forgotten in art history. Parody, the Weird Al, the Mexican Guatemalan Weird Al of the art world. I love Weird Al.
Well, thank you so much for.
My final words? Oh my God!
No. Just it's a short. We have a short amount of time, but thank you for expanding the canon, and also with materials and with all of these wonderful sources.
Thank you.
So that we do have
Okay,
a
good.
picture of the columns.
Oh, great.
So yeah, this is the corncob capital by Benjamin Latrobe. And we found out while Justin was on site that the Renwick ones are also outside because Latrobe wanted to make this national. And I'm not sure how many architects picked it up, but James Renwick did. So it was, if you leave tonight, you can look up, gaze up at the building. They're above Big Texas Boots, and you can see our corncob capitals. And everything really is connected.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time tonight with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Thank you.